Hello everyone, welcome to my vlog. I am Victoria and thanks for clicking on the video. I've been talking about narcissism, and that's because there's a lot to talk about it, and it's, I think, one of the most problematic characteristics in a modern day relationship. So if you're new to my vlog, thanks for trusting me with your time, and if you're already a subscriber, then thanks for trusting me with your time more. So today's video is a bit more back to the basics because I want to talk about the definition of narcissism specifically. Narcissism is problematic because it's basically someone who is going to be so self-conscious. No, they're going to place themselves on a pedestal. They won't be empathetic of anyone else's needs. They're just going to be self-centered and manipulative. They will try to reach their goals without any regards to anyone else around them. It doesn't matter who you are. And so I think on this note, my next video will be about definitions and terms that you might come across when you're dealing with narcissism and narcissistic personality disorder. So for today's video, we've already been through the characteristics of a narcissist, and I'm sure some of them might have had you thinking to yourself, wow, am I a narcissist? That sounds like something I will do or something that I feel. So the thing is that with narcissism, the clinical, the professional definition of narcissism, and the one that's the most problematic, that's going to be called narcissistic personality disorder. But you might have narcissistic traits and not actually be a full-on narcissist. In the same way, you can have some psychopathic traits and not actually be a full-on psychopath. And I will make another video on that in the future. So because we're on narcissism, some of these traits can be helpful, strangely enough, like self-esteem. Having good self-esteem it's honestly a benefit to you no matter what you're doing in life. But when that self-esteem becomes a kind of megalomania, then that's when the problem comes in. So professionals define narcissistic traits as either helpful or unhelpful, and the helpful traits of narcissism, as I have found on some notes, it's going to sorry about that. So helpful narcissism, as I mentioned, is when you have good self-esteem. You can celebrate yourself, you can just appreciate yourself, you can trust yourself and believe in yourself to get something done, because that's what narcissists do. They basically think that they're superheroes of some kind. But when it's unhelpful narcissism, it's when you take advantage of other people to get to your ends, no matter who they are, no matter what kind of advantage you're taking of them. You don't care about other people's feelings or what they have to believe in their lives. I think I've lost that. But yeah, unhelpful narcissistic traits will also be like when you're extremely entitled to other people's everything, their time, their space, their lives, and you get aggressive trying to get that kind of trying to get in control and just reach the top of whatever you're trying to reach, the top of the hierarchy of your life, if you will. So because there are different personalities of people, it follows that narcissists can be like anyone, so they can have different personalities. And that's where now the different types of narcissism narcissistic personalities come in. There is grandiose or overt narcissism, which is self-explanatory. It's like the loud kind of narcissism, like, look at me. It's someone is arrogant, they are extremely competitive, they have this extreme need to be admired and have their praises sung all the time. Like, if you don't sing their praises, they're going to sing them themselves and make you repeat them. That's the kind of overt narcissism, and well, it's really uncomfortable to be around an overt narcissist because they're going to be loud. They will overcrowd your space. They're just going to take up a lot more than they need to take up. And people who are overtly narcissistic, they're going to believe that they're the cleverest people in the room. They are the best at whatever one thing or another. They're going to believe that they're better than everyone else. And it's annoying. So another kind of narcissism is now the opposite of overt narcissism. It's closet narcissism, and it's kind of more vulnerable. And I think this is the kind of narcissism that is kind of hard to miss when you're getting into a relationship with someone, because they're going to seem like they are they're nice, they have low self-esteem, but it's all an act. You need to understand it's a cover. Like, they might feel shame a lot more. They might get depressed and feel anxious a lot more than other people. And that's when maybe you catch them doing something, or you expose them for who they really are, because deep inside them, they are evil. If someone has narcissistic personality disorder, the only difference is in the symptoms, but the base essence is just the same. It's darkness. So covert narcissists will also be really introverted. They might be insecure and keep asking you, hey, do I look good in this? And they will just not have a lot of confidence. They will be very defensive. They won't want to face things like fight to prove their worth or their abilities like overt narcissists will. And they will also be very likely to play the victim in any situation. If anything goes the way that they don't like, they will just fall back and play the victim, and this is all manipulation. So they do have issues, but they'll still take advantage of you if you let them. So honestly, it's just all a ruse for this nonsense. So another type of narcissism is kind of competitive narcissism, and it's called, I think, antagonistic narcissism. That's what I wrote. So give me a minute to just confirm. So yes, antagonistic narcissists will be extremely competitive, so they are going to be prone to arguing like all the time. They will get really loud in arguments, and I sadly know someone like that. They will tend to disagree with everything. They will have a very narrow kind of life view, and they're going to basically defend it with their lungs, not their lives, because they value their lives too much. So they will just outscream you in any argument. They basically have to win, and they have like the lowest trust in anyone. Even if you try to tell them to Google something, or you link them to a kind of research talking about something that's opposing their view, they will not agree to it. They will just rather drown you out in noise. So another kind of overt narcissism that's not exactly like antagonistic narcissism is communal narcissism. And this is, it's kind of really close to white knight narcissism. Or, okay, not white knight narcissism, more of altruistic narcissism, where someone believes that they are helping you, they know what's best for you, so just trust them because they are going to help you. So this kind of narcissist is going to be outraged because of moral injustices. And this might be injustices that honestly they should enrage anyone, but some of them are going to be minor and they're just going to outrage them extremely because they feel like they are holier than thou. I think that's the best term to define them with. So they will, when they talk about themselves, they'll say that they are generous, they are empathetic, they are kind, they are fair, and they believe in equality. They will just be using all these nice, soft, rounded adverbs alongside themselves. And while they might seem like they have good intentions, but honestly, they're trying to get under the radar of a narcissist and just maybe get a position of power where they're going to be trusted to make the rules, the moral rules for a group of people or something like that. And it's kind of bad. I think most religious extremists are this kind of narcissist because they believe that they are the ones who have the rule book. They have the list of who's going to make it through heaven's doors and other nonsense like that. So the final kind of narcissism I found is malignant narcissism. And malignant narcissism is like the most extreme. I'd mentioned in an earlier video that narcissism exists on a spectrum, so on like a scale of 0 to just satanic, evil person, malignant is closest to the evil. It's just sitting there with its feet in the fire of hell because it's like really deep-seated. And someone who is a malignant narcissist, they're going to have all the characteristics of an overt narcissist. They will be loud, they will believe they're better than everyone at everything, they are right all the time, and they will also have other qualities that take them a step beyond. Like they might make overt narcissists gasp because they are kind of sadistic. They enjoy seeing people suffer, seeing people in pain, especially if they are people that they believe deserved the pain. Then they will also be really aggressive when they're interacting with other people. They won't have a lot of patience, basically. They will also be extremely vindictive. They will believe that if you do wrong, you have to pay for it. If you wrong them, they might not let go of the grudge for years. And that's why narcissists are basically scary, because you don't know when you're dealing with a malignant one who might just stop everything to just repay you back for something that they perceived was extremely evil that you did to them, like maybe end a relationship or expose them for the fraud that they are, and they're going to just come after you with all their fury. And there's good reason to be scared of that. And they will also be paranoid because they believe that all of this aggression that they have towards others also have it towards them, especially if they suspect that someone can see underneath their mask, which is kind of a really light mask. It's hard for a malignant narcissist to mask it well, but they still don't want to expose themselves for the absolute monsters that they are. So they are just paranoid that someone's coming for them, someone's going to take what's theirs, they're going to be a pain to deal with. And I guess that's true for all narcissists. So yeah, I think that's 5 types of narcissism that exist. And it's because, as I've repeated like a million times, narcissism exists on a spectrum. It's possible for someone to move from one kind of narcissism to the other, especially the ones that are closely related, like overt narcissism, malignant, and they might oscillate between them because these people are mentally unstable. So they will just go through it, and you don't want to be there when that's happening. And another thing, it seems like there is so much narcissism around of late, and that might be because there's more, it has become easier to spread and share information. So like knowledge isn't restricted to libraries and schools and just places that some people aren't going to have access to it. Via the internet, you can access any kind of information. So if someone exhibits some kind of traits of narcissism, they might decide, like I am, to share them with other people so that they can maybe save them in some way. And also it might have to do with our parents, the way they raised us, because I think that most adults in our population nowadays, they were brought up by these mothers who felt like they have to celebrate them, they have to congratulate them for every single thing they do. They just have to put them up on a pedestal so that they can build a self-esteem, which is good, but if overdone, it raises a narcissist who is going to believe that they deserve this kind of treatment that they're getting throughout their lives. Like these patterns are going to be etched in their brains. If I give any kind of effort, then I have to be celebrated widely. And again, some of these mothers and fathers were narcissistic themselves, so they spoiled their children, I think, maybe because of trying to hold on to a marriage that wasn't working or something like that. And honestly, it's terrible, but I think that the more people know about it, the easier it will be to maybe force these narcissists to look back in on themselves. Because while narcissistic personality disorder, it's an actual mental illness, but these are the last people who are going to go to a therapist because they believe that they are fine and everyone else has a problem. So even if they go to a hospital for mental issues, it's not going to be because of what everyone else around them complains about. So it's good to know the kind of narcissist you're dealing with, because I think these small differences between different narcissists are going to maybe need different techniques to handle if you are stuck living with one. So hopefully this is going to shed some light on why someone might feel narcissistic but they don't really tick all the boxes, or why you might suspect that you're a narcissist but no one in your life has ever complained about you in a way that implies you're a narcissist. So, and if you're concerned, you could always go for a mental health evaluation, because there's a chart that's used that's going to find out if you have severe or any form of mental issues. So, yeah, I think that's it for today's video, and I hope it was informative. It was a bit longer. I think I'm going to shrink it into a short later today, and I hope I hope I helped you, and I repeat that too much. So anyway, stay safe, stay informed, and I hope to hear from you if you feel like I've left out a specific kind of narcissist, or if you have some characteristics that you're wondering what kind of narcissism they fall under, then let me know in the comments and I'll try to dig some information up about it. Otherwise, thanks, stay safe, and I hope to hear from you. Bye.